You want to give about 2 more minutes?
Nope, I got a lot of
Okay.
stuff to cover. So I'll record and they can catch up. Ladies and Dewan, we have Mr. Donald Snyder on this evening, and I wanted him to get in and have a chance to chat with you all because he offers something that I think is really kind of unique. So Donald Snyder says he's no longer my mentor, but I think he says that so I don't call him as much. But I decide if he's still my mentor. He doesn't get to decide. I'm going to decide that for him. And I want to have access. So he's been extremely instrumental in helping me get to where I am. And I thank him consistently for doing that. So Donald, without further ado, because we do have an awful lot to cover, I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead, introduce yourself and tell them what it is you're offering.
Okay. Good evening, class. I'm offering a pitch contest, which we do it through DTE Energy, and this is our 4th Bright Ideas Pitch Contest, which in short is what we call the Shark Tank, and where we deal with existing businesses and startup businesses to hear their pitch on how they're going to provide goods and services to the community or to the neighborhood that they're in. And we look at those type of businesses, and the structure is we send out applications to about 30 people. I would say half those people comes from Laura's class. I usually pick a lot of folks out of her class to be involved. And once we vet and see what your business is about, and we'll vet you, we'll also do a little coaching if you haven't done pitch contests before or won any contest. So we want you to be prepared when you come before the judges. And we'll pick 5 or 6 judges. And our contestants will probably be about 5 or 6 contestants. We haven't really, but just to give you a little flavor of it, the past 3, we started out first place, person won $5,000. The second Shark Tank we had, our first place person won maybe $6,000. And then the last one we had, which was at the PAL facility, I think we gave out a $3,000, a $1,000, a $1,000. So we always average between, I would say, $5,000 to $7,000 that we give out. And we usually try to do it among 3 winners. Sometimes the judges get to the point, well, the 4th one sound just as good. We need to do something for them. So we may add another 1,000 or we may split it. So we never know until that night what we're going to do. But just wanted to share with you, since you are with ProsperUS in your Laura's class, and I know she does a real good job. She was a great mentee that I had. And I've been in her classes, I've been a judge in her classes as well. And I just think some good people come out of that. And she can point later on some of the winners that have actually won that came from Laura Sigmund's class. So it's turned out very well, and we want to constantly do this to help you all understand about business and what's out there. Has anybody, real quick, participated in the pitch contest and won money? Nobody has? Okay.
I have.
Yolanda, you have?
I have.
Okay. Who was the sponsor of the pitch contest?
I'm not sure. I did it for Detroit Food Academy. They do a pitch contest where they give $50,000 to a nonprofit. It's held at the, not the Opera House, but the one downtown. It's a really big one. They do it every year, and I didn't want it for me personally, but I won it for my organization.
For your organization, how much did you win?
$50,000.
50,000? Okay.
Not for me though, no.
Well, did they peel some off for you for being very there and supportive?
What'd you say, sir?
I said, did they kind of peel a little bit off for you to do what you wanted to do?
I got to have a job.
Oh. Okay, I got it.
That's why I work for myself now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's what we're doing. This year, we're looking at Thursday, August 27th is when we're going to host the event. We've hosted the event at Little Rock Baptist Church. We've hosted the event at Ken Flowers Church, Greater Mount Moriah. where we usually have an audience of 180 people. We have music and all that other stuff. But now, since we're into this new normal, we're trying to figure out how we're going to do most of this online. So we're probably going to get a studio somewhere in Ferndale where you actually will come and pitch, and we'll set up a Zoom platform so a lot of people can see you and vote. And at least the judges will be able to ask you questions. They're going to ask you questions after you give your 2-minute speech about your business. So you want to talk about your business. You wanted to say how your business is going to help the community, neighborhood that you come from. And also you're going to talk about what you're going to do with the money if you do win. So that's just some of the seeds I plant. So just stay in tune with Laura. I'm going to send Laura the link to the application when we're ready to roll it out. So you can fill out the application, tell us a bit about your business, a little bit about you, and then we will go through our vetting process of picking out. We like to get between 25 and 30 applications, and we like to vet them down to maybe six people. So you gotta learn everything you can from Laura's class so you can put your best foot forward so we can have you in the pitch contest. Any questions?
Any questions?
And also we have a lot of folks who just participated in the contest that didn't win, and they still won anyway, just by being in the network circle, being the things that we can provide for them, networking and other connections. So we got some fabulous stories of folks who have done very well just by participating in the pitch contest, even though they weren't a winner.
You want to give some examples, Don? We got a few minutes.
Which one? Pick one for me.
Ashley.
Okay. Okay, great. Ashley Williams, we call her the millennial. She's a millennial marketing. She did not win. It was our first pitch contest that we had. She spoke very fast, even though we gave her some coaching. She's just a fast young lady in her 30s. And we really didn't understand what she was saying when she was up there pitching to the judges. So even though we had her come to a class, because I usually do entrepreneur classes as well. She came to a class, we helped her out, and then we also helped her to get business. She ended up getting DTE as a client. She got Bridgewater Interiors. She's got First Independence National. She had none of those folks until she came to us.
Black United Fund.
Right, Black United Fund, and all because the connections. And Laura tell you, I just happen to have a lot of connections, probably because I've been around too long, but we were able to connect with a lot of businesses where she has grown and done well. And some other folks that did not win, I actually got them business at DT Energy, where we got a lady called the Chocolatier. She sells chocolates at the DT store. I can go on and on, but a lot of the lady, Tanya, what's Tanya's last, Williams, that does the valet parking. She did not make the vetting process, to be able to compete, but yet we gave her a $1,000 contract just to valet park cars. So in essence, she still won. So that's what we do. Kimberly Wilson, you got me on the road. Kimberly Wilson is a mobile phlebotomist, where she goes around and collects blood. She came to Laura's class. We mentored her. She won the pitch contest. She just picked up probably a $500,000-$600,000 contract last week, where she needs to hire 12 people to go out and kind of draw blood and do some COVID-19 testing. So this is what we do.
Awesome. Awesome.
So you got more signal there. So she got you on the right path.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Were you asking a question, Renetta?
I'm excited too, that's all.
My
Well,
question is about
at the end of the day,
process.
well, at the end of the day, it's all about connect.
Yolanda has a question for you, Don.
Go ahead, Yolanda.
Yes, my question is about the vetting process. I heard you say someone didn't make it through the vetting process. What could we do to better our chances of getting through that process successfully?
Well, it depends on how you fill out your application. I mean, give us something in the application, and I'm hope I'm not offending anybody, but we're looking for contestants that's not talking about baking a cake, baking a pie. We're looking for some real nuanced stuff of the businesses that you're going into that has nothing to do with food. So that's what we're looking for now. We want that.
Awesome.
because everybody claims they got a recipe for their grandma's cake and pie, and this
Guys looking for
oversaturated with that.
uniqueness and originality.
Well, you got to take time to find that uniqueness.
Okay.
Anybody else?
You're gonna send
Okay,
me the link.
Laura?
You're gonna
Yes.
send me the link. Okay, and I'll make sure I get
Yes.
to them tonight.
Okay. I mean, I'll send it to you today.
Okay.
But you should get it this week.
Okay, I'll send it to both my
Class over.
Monday
You
and
got 4
Tuesday
more weeks
night.
of class? You got 4 more weeks of class?
Yep, 4 more.
Okay. Karen, what business are you doing?
So I was to do, but I changed it, and I'm going to be focusing more on me because that's what I'm more passionate about. So I actually just thought of my name. My business name is going to be called Naturally Me, and I'm going to go around to schools teaching the kids how to make natural hair care and body care products, and also how to care for their hair, because I noticed that a lot of young kids don't know how to care for their hair and their skin.
Okay. All right. How we doing, Laura, on time? Well, your time, so you could get started.
Go ahead. I'll give you 3 more minutes. I'll just blast through.
Anybody got any more questions about business? Well, again, I just want to emphasize networking is the key. And Laura, you're going to hear Laura Sigler talk about your net worth. So, and how you connect with people.
I haven't told them that yet, Donald.
You've told me. Well, say it, Laura. Come on, say it for me, Laura.
Your network is your net worth.
Okay. But just to give you a little bit, so I got a couple minutes about myself. I'm an entrepreneur, and when I teach entrepreneur classes, I don't teach it from an academic standpoint. I teach it from the businesses that I've owned. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do something I usually don't do. I'm gonna give you my website, and you can see the businesses that I've owned. And my website is www.beyondtheblingbook.com. So once you get to the website, you see that I've been a former McDonald's franchisee. I've been a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchisee. I've been a John's franchisee.
Repeat that again.
www.beyondtheblingbook.com.
Okay, and I heard you were saying about the food, certain things are saturated. So my world is food, but I'm going to apply and I'm going to show you that there's so much more food.
Talking about Yolanda.
Yes. Because I don't just cook, I create opportunities through food for myself and young people. So I'm definitely going to apply.
Okay. I dropped that on purpose just to see if I'm going to get a challenge. I like a challenge. But like I said, in teaching entrepreneurship, I basically have owned businesses, meat payrolls and what have you. You can see that, I've owned a McDonald's, I've owned a Kentucky Fried Chicken, I've owned a Papa John's. I was a tier 1 automotive supplier for 15 years when my cousins were Chrysler and Cummins Engine Johnson Controls. I tried to start a bank in Detroit called First Spirit Bank. So I've done all that stuff. We've owned venues out at the airport, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf down in the baggage claim, up on Concourse A, we own a Subway shop. We did that. I distribute hot dogs and chicken to Ford football field in St. Louis. So there's really not too many businesses that we can't sit down and talk about. So that is my experience, where most times when somebody's teaching you entrepreneurship or whatever, they really haven't been out in the field to know stuff, where I have my own case studies to tell you what works, what doesn't work. I mean, and I'll give you this last one. There was, Ashley was in my class, the one I call the millennial. She says, well, I've been trying to talk to a purchasing director at some company. How long do I chase him? If he doesn't get back with you in 45 days at top 60, then you have nothing to offer him. Because if he had something, he would have contacted you. So you waste a lot of time and energy chasing somebody down that has no interest in your product. So this is what you have to time yourself on how long you want to chase somebody to get some business. All right,
Thank you, Donald
I'm
Snyder.
done. Okay,
Thank you so
you all
much.
take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
I'll get that link to him, Don. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, guys, if you would for me, please get your books out. I need you to pick up session 9. We are going to look at financial planning. And the reason, if you look in your book, you'll see it's only 2 pages of session 8. And the reason we skip session 8 is because section 8 is where you would have done your pitch competition. Session 8 is where you would have been like, and my business is, and I'm super great, and all that good jazz. I skipped session 8 intentionally because I want you to first get through at least understanding what your financial request will look like. So it's great to be able to tell the narrative about your business, what motivated you, how you got started, you know, all your inspirations, but I really want you to be able to ask for money. At the end of the discussion, I need you to be in a position where you can say, and I'm seeking X number of dollars, and these dollars will cover blah, 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 blah. Like the pitch piece we saw a few weeks back where the young man was like, don't let these bleachers freeze your butt or whatever he said, you know, I need 30 times, da, da, da. You guys remember that video from some time ago? So we're going to spend a little bit of time in, not actually, the whole session is going to be on creating and putting together your actual startup budget. If you take a little walk with me in this book, I want to go specifically to page 243. I think the author does a pretty decent job of giving you the ebbs and flows of financing a business. And he starts off by saying, how much will it cost you to actually start your business? So to figure that out, you want to sort of create a startup budget. And this is a very important step in starting a business, as there are so many things that you want to keep in mind while you try to complete the actual startup budget worksheet. You will find in your graduate support documents or a folder several different templates. We'll review them in just a second. But I think it is very important that you understand how to ask for money and the justification in the request for money. So it seems nearly everyone has either tried to start a business, has always underestimated what they need to actually start the business. So many find themselves running into inadequate capital, finding themselves in a situation where their business is likely to fail. So expenses, here's my theory. Inflate the anticipated amount of money you need around expenses, because you don't have a working knowledge if you're not actively in it. You don't know what the rent is going to cost you. You don't know what the water bill is going to cost you. You don't know what the insurance is. You don't know what the new labeling is going to be. You don't know the shipping costs. You don't know enough. So whatever you come up with when you do your own research, expand it a bit so that you can sort of have a working platform for what realistic expectations there may be there. And they tell you that this includes all your assets, and then it may have some, you know, goods and services from other spaces. You should do a competitive analysis, and this is where the competitive analysis becomes really, really valuable. Remember, I told you to go and do industry standards. In that research of industry standards, you sort of get an understanding of the burn rate or how much money they go through. I see you, Karen. Bless you. I feel you too. You can get an understanding for that. Look at the top of page 243. It says, striving for success without hard work is like trying to harvest where you haven't planted. I think that's a really good saying. And I like in the fact that they put it here is to tell you, how can you justify your financial request when you haven't turned a profit, you haven't sold a product or anything, and I need $350,000 because that's what I need. You need to be in a position where you can adjust that conversation by addressing your contingencies. I've looked at this much equipment. I've looked at this much inventory controls. I've looked at all these things, and I know if I'm able to service 600, 900, 1,000 customers a year or even a month, is going to require this amount of money. You got to get to a point where you can justify your ask. The ask must be justified. And then it says, number 4, working capital. I have had more intellectual debates around working capital, so much so I can tell you honestly, I'll send you an article that I refer back to. I think it's from like 2013 or 2015. This one person in Inc. magazine actually did a really good job telling you that working capital is difficult. Is like trying to catch some running water and hold it in your hand. It is nearly impossible to really figure out how much working capital you need. How many of you know how much money you need for all the equipment, for marketing, for labor, for insurance? You know all that stuff already? Now, do you know how much money you need in the event it doesn't have enough sales to support what you're doing while you're growing the business? See, that's the purpose of working capital. Working capital is to float you when you have a cash flow shortage. Working capital is supposed to be that little nest egg you get to when things get tight. How do you know what tight is if you're not even totally operational? How do you know what the sales forecast is if you haven't even begun to operate? So a lot of people, I asked 2 different accountants, what's your theory for designing the financial request around working capital? And one person said 3 times your inventory. Whatever it costs you in a month for inventory is that times 3 months. So you have 90 days of inventory support. But inventory, guys, is only one item that you need to replenish. And if you are buying inventory, you should be converting inventory, in Lori's opinion. And converted inventory should start being sales. Sales in the TL should replenish inventory. I think working capital has multiple layers of consideration. Not only do I want to replenish my inventory, I want to be able to float my payroll, and I want to be able to float my operating overhead, like insurance, rent, right? Any other fees or monthly things that you have to pay out. So because I don't know the number, I try to figure out to the best of my ability by looking at other industry standards, by sort of eyeballing other people who are operating in the same realm. And then I try to assess. Nobody has a theorem or true understanding of how to assess working capital. And it is really different depending on every industry. Every industry has a different understanding of working capital. So I'm going to take a hot second and I want to show you. I got stuff in the chat room. You guys know I'll be paying no attention to that. Oh, okay. Very good, Yolanda. Right. Okay. I'm going to show you this one document real quick. I actually love the article that this author put together. I have bookmarked it and I refer to it often. It's an entrepreneur. I hope they never, ever, 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 ever take it away. But let's take a hot minute to actually review it, because I think it is just super timely. And I know most of you are muted, but I want to show you something. So this article, so it's from February 14, 2013, and it's from Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a great magazine or online article. I've never gotten an actual physical magazine, but I read it regularly. So it says working capital is one of the most difficult financial concepts for a small business owner to actually understand. In fact, the terms, it actually means several different things to different people, but by definition, working capital is the amount by which current assets exceed current liability. So however, if you simply run this calculation each period and you try to analyze what your working capital needs are, you won't accomplish that because it is a fleeting number. Even if your costs are fixed, even if you run through the same inventory costs, you still will never really have a real working knowledge of how much money you need when you look strictly at your current assets. It says a more useful tool for determining your working capital is the operating cycle. Let's be clear when we talk about an operating cycle. Let's use Yolanda's business, for instance. She's a catering company. Do catering companies have ebbs and flows in their cycle? Is Easter a bigger season for her? Is Mother's Day a bigger season for her? Is graduation cycles a bigger season for her? Are weddings an occasion? See, operating cycles or monthly periods need to determine for you the frequency, your real frequency of when and how you need to flex through your working capital. So the author says the operating cycle analyzes the accounts receivable, the inventory, and the accounts payable cycles in terms of days. In terms of days. In other words, accounts receivable are analyzed by the average number of days it takes to actually collect an account or to capture your money. Inventory is only analyzed by the average number of days it takes to turn the sale of the product into a finished product. So you can have eggs sitting in the refrigerator for 15 days. They're still eggs and it's still just inventory. Although it's an asset, you haven't turned a profit on it, and it's not producing any income. So they're saying until you convert that asset, it doesn't become working capital or access to capital. Accounts payable are analyzed by the number of days it takes for someone to pay the supplier's invoice. So most businesses cannot actually finance the operating cycle, and that could be from month to month, and it should be month to month, but in this indication, they're saying day to day, accounts receivable days plus inventory with accounts payable financing alone. So consequently, working capital is needed, meaning you got a shortfall of cash. I exhausted X number of dollars to buy inventory. I'm exhausting X number of dollars to pay out my debt, like my mortgage, my rent, my insurance, my marketing fees, my credit card bills. So I'm rolling out money, and I also rolled out money for inventory. And then somewhere in between, I haven't had a sale. And because I had no sale, I'm short on capital. I'm short. So consequently, working capital financing is needed. This shortfall is typically covered by the net profits generated internally or by external borrowed funds or a combination of the two. Let me take a pause and hear from you all for just a second. I really like to see if you guys are understanding what I'm saying so far, because financing a business is a complicated space. It's a very, very complicated space. And most people start off with what they call their own little cash. They'll, I'm gonna put this much money into it. I'm gonna put this much into it, and I'm gonna run this thing. But when you put that much money into it and you got a whole shelf or a room full of inventory, yeah, you did fund this thing, but you haven't converted a sale yet. So you still don't have cash flow. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Is that complicated?
No.
Wonderful. So when we think about starting up a business, they are asking you, do you understand all of the inputs and all of the capital requirements so that you can figure out how much money you actually need to be asking lenders for? They want to know all the sources of funds and where they're coming from. So for a hot second, I'm gonna go back to this article and show you the 5 areas that this author says that you can go and get money from. So most businesses need short-term working capital, and at some point in their operation, for instance, retailers may need working capital for seasonal inventory buildup, especially if you're selling clothes between September and November. You need to get all that inventory in so you can have Christmas sales. But even a business that is not seasonal will experience peaks in months and certain unusual high volumes, like Yolanda. She's going to have high Easter or high Thanksgiving or high graduation. She's going to see an uptick in catering requests. So that means she needs to create a working capital balance that'll help her get to solving her cash flow deficits. The difference is, and I'll show you for Yolanda, she should be able to collect portions of deposits that should build up her cash reserves. She shouldn't go and spend all the money and then all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. So there are a few things that you can actually go to. I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm just reading. Let me pause.
Here are the 5 most common sources of short-term working capital. Equity, meaning you yourself are funding it. If your business is in its first year of operation and has not yet become profitable, you might have to rely on equity, which means your own money for a short period of time. These funds might be injected from any personal resource you have, including family members or third-party investors. Trade credit. Trade credit is a fantastic way of funding a business, and I would say that hopefully Annette and Evelyn have a trade credit account where they don't have to pay for everything up front. What it's doing is allowing your supplier to invoice you to be paid in a balance of maybe 30 or 60 days later. That's called trade credit. Like, you can call the meat truck and they come and deliver you a month worth of meat, and then they send you an invoice and you pay it in 30 days. You didn't have to actually pay it right then and there. Then there's this thing which I absolutely hate, and more small businesses than not find themselves in a situation where there are factoring. Factoring is another resource for short-term working capital. Once you have filled an order, a factoring company buys the accounts receivable, meaning, and it works pretty much for an invoice company or a construction company or a service center company. You should never really see yourself in a factoring situation when you're on the retail side of things. And I can explain that a little bit later. But this type of financing is more expensive than your conventional bank financing, and is often used majority of the time by brand new businesses, and I want to say more exclusively minority businesses who don't and can't get access to capital. You find them always leveraging. So, for instance, say you had an opportunity to cut 3 major universities' lawns, and they're going to pay you in 45 days. A factoring agreement would say, show me the contract, and then they would pay you a diluted portion of what the contract was worth. So if it was worth 30,000, they may pay you 22,000. They'll weight the difference and collect the whole 30 and made 8,000 on it because you only got 22. You understand what I mean?
Do you eventually get all of it?
You don't.
Oh.
In a factoring, and nope, see, in a factoring, what they've done was collected the receivable. Yolanda, they took the receivable from you, and they said, oh, at face value, the receivable is worth 30,000. So we're gonna give you 22,000, and you keep it moving. And when the 30,000 come in, we clear 8 automatically.
That's almost like a loan.
Sure. Yeah, but they just reduced your take. So if you bid it for 30, the difference is if your labor costs bumped up against that 22,000, and your expenses and fuel and insurance and all the rest of your operation and the truck note and all that, and by the time you finish servicing it, yes, Miss Renetta.
So
that's the equivalent loan
higher?
Hold on, Yolanda, 1 second. Renetta, what did you say?
That's the equivalent of a loan shark.
Yeah.
And see, and truly, but a lot of, do you know, Renetta, I see so many minority business owners going to On Deck or other factoring companies. They were like, right now we'll put 30 grand in your bank account, and then some of them will dilute your receivables by 50%.
You might as well go to Little Italy and talk to Big Tony.
These young folks don't know what you're talking about, Renata.
Well, that's why my question becomes, wouldn't that in turn mean we just bid higher with the expectation that we're going to lose some?
You know, Yolanda, that's a brilliant suggestion. I've never ever heard anybody be that proactive. But if you can plan proactively, knowing that you're going to have a shortfall of capital, and if you know that you've inflated your quote or your price to cover what your real operating costs, and you got a little wiggle room, and you made some profit, then yeah, I guess it's okay, because they got a little bit, you got a little bit.
That's how I'm with Renetta. If they gonna do it that way, I'm gonna have to do it that way too.
I've never heard ever in 15 years anybody ever say that. Not ever. I think that's brilliant. If you can be competitive, if you can still be competitive and still win awards based on, you know, you jacking the price up a little bit more. But here, let me say this. Let me say this to you. If you've ever seen a Black-owned beauty and barber supply, or a Black-owned auto repair shop, or a Black-owned, and I'm telling you the honest to God truth, The reason that their prices are more expensive, does anybody know why?
They got to factor in paying back that debt. They got to cover their costs.
See, initially it shouldn't be that, but it's probably that on the tail end, Renetta. You know what
They
it
get
is.
charged more.
What you say, Sabrina?
They get charged more.
The reason technically that they cost more, guys, is because they don't have buying power. They can't buy $50,000 worth of inventory to draw the cost in smaller. They can't buy in bulk. They buy batch. They don't buy bulk. They buy batch. And when you buy batch, it costs you more.
Yep.
Right? If you go to the store and you buy an individual serving of pound cake, you'll still pay $4 for a single serving, but you can pay $15 for a half sheet, which will feed 30 people versus 3 people. You understand? It's buying power. Most small minorities can't
in the catering world, it's so real, because in the catering world, when I first started, like if I would buy lemons, I would go to the store and buy like 3 lemons for $2. Whereas if you go to like somebody named Randazzle's, you get a whole box of lemons for $20 for like 200 lemons. But it's certain things that you just don't know.
And you may not have access to the capital. If you only got $15, you're trying to convert it and make it 30, you can't spend $20 on just lemons because you got to buy everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So for most minority business owners, it's the access to their purse. Their purse is tight. The purse has got coins. It don't have bills. It's got coins, and they're trying to do what they can on coins. And that's why I love whatever rapper that is to say, I want to make $1 out of 50 cents. You know, I so understand that. They guys understand.
15 cents. Yeah. That's the difference between buying from Alibaba and AliExpress.
I've never purchased from either one of them, but I totally understand your concept because
there are thousands at a time. You end up spending thousands of dollars. AliExpress, you can buy a personal amount, like 10.
Yeah. So I don't know about the quality, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So check out another form of financing is a line of credit, and the author tells you the honest to God truth. Lines of credit are not often given by banks to new businesses. However, if your business is well capitalized, meaning you come from a little bit of change and you can prove that you got a little bit of change in the bank, they will use your money as collateral and loan against your money.
Mm-hmm.
So a line of credit allows you to borrow funds for short-term needs when they arise, meaning you only touch it when you need it. It's not an ongoing monthly obligation. You pull it down, you make the transaction. When the money comes in, you put it back. That's how a line of credit is used. And then the last one that the author suggests is a short-term loan. There are very few opportunities, the way we operate, especially in the Detroit market. You very rarely will find a single 1-year loan unless you guarantee it personally. So while your new business may not qualify for a line of credit from the bank, you might have success in obtaining a one-time short-term loan less than a year to finance your temporary working capital needs if you have established, and pay attention, a good banking relationship. Or might he or she be willing to provide a short-term note for a one-time seasonal inventory order or accounts receivable, meaning in your hand, you can prove to them that, look, Detroit Public Schools is going to purchase from Karen Bell 18 sessions of youth training. They will take that as liquid cash and give you a loan against that.
Okay.
You guys understand? So equity is the first one that they tell you is a form of working capital. That's how you can fill that gap, meaning you pull it out your own pocket. Number 2, y'all remember what number 2 is? Number 2 is trade credit, meaning you go to your suppliers and you ask them to let you have X number of promised pieces and you will pay them later in 30 or 60 days. What's the third one? The one that I told you I don't like.
Factoring.
factoring. That's where they dilute your receivables. You know, they want to know how much money, oh, you got what? And so they're definitely not doing it for like a retail store. They're like, what? They only want liquid paper. They want contracts that they can convert. They don't want physical, tangible assets. What's the fourth one?
Line of credit.
A line of credit. And that is the most difficult one for a new startup business to get. And the last one they talk about is short-term loans. Right? So for all intents and purposes, we reviewed the places, the spaces that you can look for trying to fill your gap in your operation. Now, let us take a hot minute. I'm going to create a business from scratch and show you how I create a startup budget. You have documents in your session 9 curriculum folder that will help you go through building a budget. But for all intents and purposes, I want to show you mine. You don't have access to this, but I may offer you some support on that. So I am going to start from scratch a commercial lawn care service. So, was there a question? Somebody have a question? All right, can you guys see my screen? It says startup budget.
Yes. No.
No, it's a list of links.
A list
right.
of sites.
Let me
It's a
go back.
Word
I want to share the right one. I want to show you my software. So on that Word document that had a whole bunch of hyperlinks, see, when somebody asks me to help them do their financial projections, I make them go and virtually shop. I want them to do a whole virtual shopping cart of everything they think they need as a startup. And that page that you just got finished looking at was just a list of all the things that I thought I would need for my commercial lawn service. So you're now seeing these orange boxes, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna start this business in June of 2020. So I am actually in my small business startup budget form. And I want to explain it so you all understand when you get ready to do yours, or when we do a one-on-one and I can help you walk through yours, you can come up with the right types of financial projections. So because I'm doing a commercial lawn service, I don't need to buy land. Land is not a depreciable asset, but I don't need to put any land on it. Let me be clear. Everything in this first section, everything here are called fixed assets. These things all have depreciation schedules, which means by default, they go to my balance sheet. Do I need to buy a building? Am I buying a building for my commercial lawn service? I'm going to say no. I don't think I need a building. Leasehold improvements go hand in hand. So let me see. Michael, are you buying a building?
No, I'm leasing.
So are you going to buy it already built? Are you going to lease it already built out, or do you plan to get a shell and need to still put all the plumbing, electrical?
No, I already have the base. I already have the stations put in.
So did you pay for them, or was it already that way?
Already previously another salon.
Okay, good. So if you are not pay attention, guys. If you are not modifying a physical location, if you are not modifying a structural physical location, you do not have leasehold improvements. But every business, for the most part, probably needs some version of equipment. So I'm going to go back to the Word document I had with the links on it, and we're going to open that up. I said I need a walk behind lawnmower. So let's find out what this price is. At the same time, just for your information, I'm running a calculator so I can calculate the cost for each of these items. So they want, for this used piece of equipment, they want $2,800. You guys see the equipment?
No.
Yeah, I don't want to go back and forth. So that first link was a piece of equipment. This next one is a trailer for me to put my large commercial grade equipment on it. Let's find out what the trailer is worth. I need a side-by-side screen so you guys can see what I'm doing, but it would take so long to go back and forth. Maybe if I just leave you guys on the Google site, it'll do it. All right, so I'm looking at this big box trailer, and what did it tell me? It says it's $41.74 a month, and so this is going to be a rental expense. I have two options. Rental equipment is not a fixed asset, so if I want to buy it outright, I have to look at how much it would cost me to buy it outright. And if I wanted to rent it, then I would pay $41 a month. All right, let me go to the next thing. The next one is a leaf blower. The leaf blower is coming in at $549.95. I've got like 3 more links, guys, then we can get right to the document. I'm at Home Depot looking for a gas power edger. I'm looking for a commercial grade power edger. And Home Depot has one that I saw. Let's see what they want. All right, Home Depot. So I have commercial lawnmower. I got a trailer. I'm gonna say $41.74. The edger by itself is $1,680. And I want to use truck so I can haul. I need a truck so I can pull all the stuff. So I went to eBay just to get a price. Obviously, I'm not suggesting anybody would buy a physical truck from eBay. They got $73.95. All right. Now that I've done my preliminary research, and for each of you, truth be told, when you do your actual discovery, you have to be very diligent and disciplined in what you're looking for. So I have a calculator up, and I'm going to calculate everything that I think I need. I have $2,800 for the lawnmower. I have $549.95 for the leaf blower. I have $1,680 for the edger. So I'm at $5,229.95 without the trailer, because I only have a per month cost for the trailer. I need to know what it costs outright. So I'm gonna run these numbers real quick. Times 4. So it's gonna cost me for the trailer $8,400. which is expensive. So my grand equipment request is $13,429.95. I'm not buying any furnitures or fixtures. And what would be furniture and fixtures? If you all were doing this, Michael, right here, your furniture and fixtures would be your waiting area, any window treatments.
My salon chair.
No, your salon chairs are part of the equipment because you need the chair for the processing of the work.
Okay.
Furniture and fixtures are the accoutrements, things that make the beautification of the property.
Okay.
All right.
So that wouldn't consist of like the reception area either.
The reception area, the lunchroom area.
Okay.
Right. Furniture and fixtures are what we call finishings. The finishings. The equipment is what's necessary. I can't go and cut hair without a chair for you to sit your butt in. I need a chair. You got to, that's part of the the equipment need.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys get that? There's a distinction. All right, let me go back to the doc. So because I looked for the vehicle separately, I have two options, guys. I can put the vehicle here and try to finance it. The vehicle by itself was $73.95, but I know that's probably too low of a price, so I'm going to say $12.5. Right now, my fixed asset request is $25,930. Can you guys see that number okay?
Yes.
Now here on the fixed asset line, I have this other category called other. Can anybody think of something else that a commercial lawn company would probably need if they're looking for a 12-month operation?
Gas.
What?
I said gas for your equipment.
Yes, ma'am. Those are operating expenses though, not a fixed asset.
Well, it's not fixed.
So how about if I said I wanted a plow?
Oh yeah.
Which technically, guys, would not go here for other. It would go in equipment. But for purposes of illustration, I'm saying to you, I also need a plow. So this 13,430 would also be right with this 5,800. The other would be any other large asset, meaning anything that has a larger life cycle, more than 3 years. If it's got more than 3 years, it's a fixed asset, okay?
Okay.
So computers, software, anything that you need for your business that has a greater life cycle, really more than 24 months, but for all intents and purposes, 3 years. Right now, I need $31,730 for this business. Notice my next category, it says train staff payroll before day one. What, Laura, do you need? How much money will you need to spend on training your people? Well, to keep it simple, I'm going to say it's just me right now, and I've got a partner. When I'm edging, he's cutting. When he's cutting, I'm edging. So I don't have enough work for anybody to actually hire them right now. So I'm going to say 0. But if that wasn't the case, and I wanted to pay somebody, like Michael might pay a receptionist.
Yeah.
Yolanda is going to pay a helper. Karen may need to pay a helper. Renetta may have to put one of her grandbabies to work to help package these jars or make this jewelry, whatever it is. Same thing for Annette and Evelyn. Who knows? You may be in a position where you have to pay out payroll. If you're not paying out payroll, then you put 0 there. But every business, before you open, and a lot of businesses don't do this, they get on my nerves when they don't. How many of you recognize that you're not legally supposed to operate without insurance? Do you know there's no business operating in the United States that does not need insurance? All businesses should be operating with insurance. Can anybody tell me why we all need insurance? Karen, why do you need insurance?
why do I need insurance? In case a kid is allergic to something and they not know and I not know. Yeah, just in case I get sued or something.
They could have eaten some of the, it's all natural, but they'd be like, what? My baby ate what?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to take my baby to the doctor, and now they're going to make them work up all these medical tests, and I need them to get x-rays because my child just consumed a foreign object. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care what that is. And all those tests and all the bills are whose? Yours.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you want the insurance for. There is no business on God's green earth in the United States of America that should not operate with insurance.
Right.
Period. But a lot of folks do. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys.
but I know business is supposed to have insurance for liability purposes.
For liability purpose,
what
listen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember or knew about Big Mama's. Big Mama's was a soul food restaurant on Grand River. They were slaying, doing all kind of great business, doing great business. And why would they not pay their insurance? They had a fire. The building burnt it on up.
Wow.
And guess what? They had taken out a loan to retrofit, because it used to be an ice cream shop, and they retrofitted that and made it a restaurant. They had over $300,000 worth of commercial improvements inside of that building. And when it burnt up, did the loan go away?
No.
But that's what insurance would have been for. So they were never able to come back and resurrect that business again. And the debt is still on their books, and they're still being chased down because they didn't pay $170 a month insurance. Just saying. Real talk.
I'm sorry, if they are an LLC and they have that debt, is the debt still theirs or is the debt the business's?
So Yolanda, perfect question. And it doesn't matter if you're LLC on that side, because now it's a debtor, a person who has rights to your collateral. So you could be an LLC, but who guaranteed the loan matters. So if the business all by its lonesome, Yolanda, was able to actually secure the debt, then they can only go after the LLC. But if Big Mabel signed that note in care of Big Mama's, then Big Mabel is on the line for Big Mama's soul food. You understand?
Yes, wow, okay.
See, the
Maybe
insurance.
they go bankrupt, so they can come back.
Yeah. They can now they're all the way inside your house because they asked you to put up some collateral. And when you put your name on that, they can now come after you to make whole on that debt. That's exactly right. Because you didn't pay the monthly insurance note. Shame on you. And I've seen all types of businesses operate like that, including households. There are people who own homes who let their insurance lapse. And a fire happens, somebody slip and fall, a death occurred, a shooting happened, and all of a sudden you want to know why you're getting sued? Oops. Prepaid insurance premiums. So I did a little research and I found out it only cost about $1,200. So right here, I have two options. I can ask to put on my budget the whole $1,200 if I felt like I wanted to finance the first year. And it may have something to do with whether or not the underwriter will allow me to pay quarterly, monthly, biannually, all that matters. So I'm going to make the assumption that State Farm said you can pay twice a year. So $600. What would be inventory? What do you guys think inventory is for a commercial lawn service? What would his or her inventory look like?
Lawn bags. What else?
Grass seeds, soil.
Grass
Oh,
what?
the weed
Mulch.
killer, the weed killer
Yeah,
spray.
weed killer.
What else?
Would it be the gas?
Gas, number one,
gas.
right? Gas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gas in there.
What else?
Hmm. What do I need? Dirt.
Flowers.
Yeah, I
if
said
they
so. Oh yeah,
landscaper.
fine. Bushes, trees,
Well, it depends on if they're
stuff. You
landscaping or
want
just doing lawn
landscape.
care. Yeah, it depends on
Okay.
how expansive they are. So
Right,
right now,
right.
I'm going to try to come up with a budget and say, so for this particular business, and because of the seasonality, I need gas, lawn bags, weed killer, some topsoil every time I may need to replace some things. I may have to replace the pull cord. I think on the weed whacker thing, they got that cord thing that has to be replaced on occasion. So I'm gonna say
And
$1,600.
protective gear.
What'd you say?
Protective gear.
Protective gear, yes, good job. But
Don't
that's
want no rock
actually
hit your eye.
look. So that goes in supplies, but okay. But for inventory. So let me give you the justification here. And I had never had anybody say that, DeJuan. You are the bomb. So here's the difference. Inventory are things needed to convert the sale. For me to make a coney dog, I must have the hot dog. I must have the bun. I must have the coney sauce. That's actually inventory. But the container that I put the hot dog in is a supply, not inventory.
Oh,
So the personal protective equipment is a
inventory.
no,
Supply?
it's a supply.
Wow.
Like bags, like
Okay, let's go
ties.
for,
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I need that stuff too. Yeah. I need the goggles, the gloves, the aprons,
All that.
you
Those are
know,
supplies.
uniforms, because I don't want nobody coming in with food to put out.
Yeah, so inventory
where's
inventory is really considered part, like it's almost cash. All you've done was taking cash and converted it to inventory. Inventory can be you're doing something to inventory to make it a product for sale, where supplies is not. Supplies are support. Supplies are support. Inventory are convertible products for sale.
Okay.
So
Think about it that way.
where did our
Yeah.
supplies go on here? Did we
Huh?
put it on there already?
Say it again.
Where did the supplies go on the form? Did we already put it on there?
I haven't. I'm just now getting
Oh,
to it. Okay. All right. So wait, my next field is legal and accounting fees. So unless you're gonna do your own accounting, it's gonna cost you probably about $30, $40 a month. So say 40 times 12, and maybe you don't want to finance that because you don't want to pay 8% interest on financing QuickBooks or financing Legal Shield. So you can come up with a dollar figure, 3 months, 6 months, 4 months, however many months you think you can float it. So if I say $40 a month and I want to pay for it I want to finance it for the first 90 days until my money start really flowing, I'm going to put in here $120. And that's assumptions that I'm only doing 3 months at $40 between my legal and accounting. I'm going to say that as a commercial lawn service, I don't have any rent because I'm able to park my equipment where I live, where I reside. If that were not the case and I had to pay a storage unit and go there and get my trailer and all my stuff, then I would put that money there. For my kale, since you didn't buy the building up here in the top where it says real estate building, because you didn't buy a building, you will come here and put in your first, last month and security deposit. First, last, and security deposit goes right here.
Okay.
Anybody else going into a physical location, that would be the same for you as well.
Okay. I'm gonna go over here to the.
So, Lauren, would I put my leasing fee or whatever my monthly lease payment is? Do I put that in the spot of the real estate building?
No,
Where do I
only
put
if
that?
you own it. Only if you own it. So yours goes down in the rent deposits. First, last, and security all goes in the rent deposit section.
Okay, so even though that is a bill that I have to pay every month, it wouldn't go under fixed
Because nobody.
fixed payment.
No, and let me explain why. See, everything under the fixed asset means that if I loaned you the money, it says I also have a tangible item I can come and take back from you and sell it.
Okay.
That's the difference.
So even if I have that leasing agreement for 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 years, that still doesn't go under the fixed income.
No, that's strictly an expense. It's not an asset.
Okay.
It's only an asset if you own it and I can sell it.
You have to own the building.
If she owns the building, she can put it there and they can come and liquidate their building from up under her to cover her debt. Yes.
Okay.
So supplies, I'm going to say PPE. I'm going to say because everything is disposable and we kind of going through some stuff right now. Okay, guys, give me a second. For some reason, my program is acting stupid. Now I got to write these numbers down. Give me 1 second. I got to redo the whole sheet. I don't know what caused that to happen. My apologies. Let me just type these numbers back in real fast. Woo. All right, I'm back right where we were when we left off, so let me get you back on with me. Because the lawn service doesn't have any utilities, I'm not plugging into anybody's, I'm not paying for my own electricity or water. I have zero for utility deposits. But Michael, for you, if the building you went into and when you went to DTE to open up the account, a business account, they will tell you whether or not they require a deposit, and the deposit has a possibility of, let me explain it. If you go into a commercial building and you get ready to go into DTE, there are 2 reasons why you'll need to make a deposit. Because the landlord is a poor landlord who's not paid his water bills or electric bills in the past when there were no tenants. and then DTE will flag that property. Same thing with the water board will flag that property and say whoever comes to resurrect service will have to make a deposit in order for service.
Okay, because when I did call, I didn't have to make a deposit.
Which meant that they were safe on their water bill and their utility usage. Because we had a lot of people who own commercial buildings who've been absentee, and you know, all of a sudden with Motor City Match and all this new stuff, everybody want to open their buildings all over again. When they get ready to lease them out, people are finding out that they can't get power or service in their names, because in their business name, because past tenants hadn't paid their bills. All right. So PPE, I need some PPE. I'm going to give myself a $600 supply. That's for goggles and aprons and disposable gloves, hand sanitizer. Maybe let's go a little bit more, $1,000. Advertising and promotion. So look, it's June, and I need to be able to. I need to get some business. This is a lawn service, but I also want to be able to get. I want to rake their leaves when the fall happens, and hopefully I want to get some, you know, some snow business. So I got to figure out how much am I willing at this point. This is our pre-start up. At this point, how much money am I willing to spend
On snow blowers?
No, on advertising and promotion.
Oh, advertising and promotion.
Now remember, I asked you all to come up with your marketing budget. Remember that? That was an assignment for you in week 4.
Right.
So whatever this lawn service had come up with, if he said I can spend $200 a month, I can spend $300 a month. That's going to be for me to do SEO on Facebook, on my website, on any social media spot, for me to pay for Hootsuite to post, whatever budget you came up with, you use that and you divide it by 12. And then you figure out how many of those months that you want to cover that. So if my annual budget was $6,000 and I want to go ahead and cover 3 months of that, I would simply take the 6,000 divided by 12, which is going to be $500 a month. And I said I want 3 months, so I need $1,500 for advertising and promotion. There are no licenses required for a commercial service. I mean, a commercial lawn service as it is right now. Now I'm down to the very next category, which is other initial startup costs. So for right here, I may consider other things that I may need to start this business. I got gas, I've got PPE, I've got some supplies, I've got almost everything that we talked about. What else might I need that we didn't talk about? What other initial startup costs might I need to have that I haven't considered? I got to register that vehicle and I have to register the trailer in the state of Michigan.
Oh yeah, registration.
So there's some registration fees I got to worry about. If I mention to you that my contracts are commercial, I don't know if you know this, but even when you go on a university's parking lot, they want you to pay to come in there even when you're a vendor. I may have to pay for parking. I may need a parking pass. All kind of stuff I may need. So I'm going to put another grand in there. And what would happen right here in this one little field, I would justify what I thought those other expenses were. So how much money do I need right now to start this commercial lawn service in total? Can anybody see that number?
$42,750.
So far I need $42,750. And I haven't put on here the whole first part that we talked about, working capital. So this is where people get messed up. Well, I don't want to ask for too much. I'm already close to 50 grand. I'm real close to 50 grand. I don't want to go past 50 grand. This is where in your heart of hearts, ladies and Dewan, when you finish working through the fixed assets and then the expenses, yes, Yolanda, DBA, LLC, vendor fees, licenses, all that. All of those are extra initial startup costs that we didn't even discover. But we're at $42,750. In your mind, in your heart, you felt some kind of way about how much money you are willing to finance. And this is where people go, well, I said I go 50. Go ahead and put that extra 8 up in there. Put that 8,000 in my working capital, and I'm at 50. Is that the formula? Oh, no, it's not the formula. But we have to start somewhere. I'm going to make the assumption that I can get away with $10,000. I'm going to put $10,000 there, and it puts me at $52,750. Now, owner's equity, as we learned in our working capital article, means money that you brought to the table, you got from your family or your friends, or somebody who was just like, girl, God told me to give this money to you. I'm about to write you this check. Here you go. That might happen for you. But if it didn't, the rule of thumb, let me just be clear, even on a commercial business loan, they're still looking for people to bring about 20% to the table. So 10% would be $5,275. So I'm going to say I'm comfortable with 12,000. 11,000. I'm not going to get any other outside investors, because in this top line right here, notice the split. Another outside investor means they're also what? Can anybody tell me what this section is? What is an outside investor? Do you guys know on the balance sheet where they belong, where they go?
No.
They have owner's equity too. An outside investor who invests money in your business means that they are also an owner.
Okay.
If it's not a debt instrument, meaning a loan with terms and notes, and somebody wrote you a check for 20 grand, they just made an investment in your business, which means they have ownership. Unless they are family or friends. All right, so we have no outside investors. So I still need to I need to come up with another $41,750. So I'm going to say, I'm going to just ask ProsperUS Detroit, you haven't even heard from them yet. ProsperUS will go up to 25,000 for a brand new startup, but they can go almost close to 50 grand right now. They've pushed their numbers up a little bit, and their interest rate is at 7.5%. But they don't do loans for more than 4 years, I don't think. So what's my monthly payment if I ask them to give me $41,750? Can you guys see that?
The $1,009.
That's what I owe ProsperUS Detroit $1,009 every single month for the next 48 months if they give me this loan.
That's for the 52? That's for the 52 or the 41?
Yeah, that's because I said I brought 11 to the table.
Okay, you brought 11.
Yep.
So that's for the 41.
That's for the $41,750. Yes, ma'am. And I still had to bring 11 to the table. Now, with ProsperUS, you don't have to bring 20%. I'm showing you traditional. But they always want to see some skin in the game. Let's just be clear. I'm in the process of opening up a few more sheets that you guys don't currently have access to, but I want to show you how we can come up with and determine a few documents. So I'm going to type sort of fast because we lost a little time and I need to finish. Okay. So I have a note of $1,009. I have decided in my document, I can actually tell you what my payroll is going to be. I'm going to say, I'm going to put myself on payroll. I'm going to pay myself because I'm just starting out. I know I can't pay myself a lot. I'm going to pay myself $13 an hour, and I'm only going to pay myself for 20 hours out of the month. So this is what my payroll is for just me. I'm at 13,520. I'm going to put one part-time person on here. I'm going to pay them $13, and they are going to work 20 hours also. My document actually tells me what my payroll obligations are for FICA, Social Security, all the rest of that, because this is a full-fledged planning software. You don't have access to this, but you got something really close. So my monthly obligations, other than my $1,000 a month, is running me $2,253 a month on payroll. So I'm going to say commercial lawn service accounts. Then I'm going to say commercial snow removal accounts. I think I'm going to go for 6 of them a month, and I'm going to charge them a flat $500 a month. How many of you know what cost of goods is? Anybody familiar with the term cost of goods? Because we are so slow or limited on time, I'm going to explain it this way. Cost of goods is anything that I have to put. Think of it this way. If I'm baking a cake, I want to make a pound cake. I need some cornstarch.
Right. The things you need to.
I need butter. Right. It's all these things, all these inputs. And I need to know how much I need, how many units. So if it costs me $3 for a gallon of milk and I only needed 1 cup, I'm going to break gallons down to how many cups can I get in a gallon? And I'm going to come up with the cost of goods, all that good jazz. So you're going to go through the whole delivery. Same thing for each of your individual businesses. I just don't have time to do it. So I'm going to come up with a fictitious number and say it cost me $8 a unit. So I got really good margins. Snow removal accounts, I'm going to say I can get 3. And I'm going to charge them a flat $750 a month. And I'm going to say it cost me about $150 per unit. So look down here. Can you guys see this part of my screen? I told the software that I'm going to start this business in June. And so it asked me, how many did you get in June? Or how many are you planning in June? I'm going to say I started off with 2. And in July, I got 3. By August, I was able to get up to 5. And by September, I had 6. October, I had 6. November, I had 6. December, snow is on the ground, I have 0. January, snow is on the ground, I have 0. February, snow is on the ground, I have 0. March, I picked up 2. April, I picked up 4. May, I was at full. You follow that?
Right.
All right. Now I'm going to go to commercial snow accounts. Well, I didn't pick up any commercial snow accounts in June. I didn't pick up any snow accounts in July. I didn't pick up any snow accounts in August. I didn't pick up any snow accounts in September. I got 1 in October. I got 2 in November. I went full 3, 3, 3, 1, 0, 0. Now this is really tiny money, but if you can see, it says I made $19,680 in this field right here. $19,680 for just the lawn service, and then I made another $7,800, and this is net. This is net money, not gross, but net money. $7,800 on my snow removal accounts for a total of $27,480. Now, I'm going to say I can afford to pay $30 a month advertising. And I'm going to do that. Now, even if I said it was going to be $6,000, I'm looking at how much money I made, right?
Right.
What's my truck expense? So this right here is where I can put my fuel to put in the vehicle to go cut grass, to go do snow removal. I'm going to say $50, probably more than that. 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75. Commission, I'm not paying anybody. I'm not making enough money. Contract labor, nobody. Because I already got payroll. What does it cost me for insurance? I'm going to say 150. Legal and accounting, I think we were at $40 a month. Now these is when all these expenses, ladies and Dewan, is when the business is actually currently operating. The license and all the rest of that, you only renew your license once a year for the most part. Vendor registrations, blah, 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 blah. So right here, I'm going to say for office expenses, I may put my cell phone. I may put any software I use, my accounting, not the accountant that I paid to provide me the service, but my accounting service, like QuickBooks and all the rest of that. So because there's a couple things bubbled up into this, I'm going to give it about $150. Cell phone and QuickBooks cost you $13 a month, something like that. The next category says, did you rent any equipment or machinery to complete this business? And I'm going to say, and I haven't added anything else. Did you need to rent any other property? No, I didn't. Do you have repairs? Well, I got some used equipment, so I'm going to put $25 warranty. I'm paying some warranty fees to, in case my equipment or something break down, so I can go and pick up, you know, a lawnmower or a snowblower or whatever. We already said my supplies was going to run me about $600, so I'm going to say it's costing me about $100 a month in disposable PPE. I can't afford to do any meals or entertainment at this point, so I'm going to take that out. He's not paying utilities. There's no such category on your operating accounts that can be called miscellaneous. Either call it what it is, or it's a 000 all the way across, if you haven't already included it. So let's look at what it cost us to operate this $30,000 a year business. What's my additional expenses, guys? Can you see it?
$15,883.
On top of my payroll and it broke down my loan amount. Now let's see what the income statement says. My document is intuitive and I don't need to actually create an income statement. It does it for me. Based on the information that I provided from my sales forecast, from what my commercial loan is going to be, how much money am I making? How much money did I make? Can anybody see that? Can you guys tell me what my net profit or loss is?
Total
Yes.
The 19,000.
19,485.
In the negative.
Negative, right.
I lost $19,485. I don't have a profit. I lost money in, look, I lost 3,000 in June, I lost 24 in July, I lost 14. You see, every month I took a loss until whatever this month is. June, July, August, September, October, until November. November is the only month that I didn't take a loss. I took a loss in every month before that. So what do, business owners?
Marketing restructure.
I have some things I got to do. I either go back to my startup budget.
Yeah, you
And
got to reconstruct your planning, marketing, business plan.
I got to either increase my sales and my categories of sales, reduce my budget, meaning how much money I asked for,
Right.
or I'm gonna be broke.
Right. Exactly.
Or I'm gonna go out of business in the first year. It's really not complicated. So let's see if we can fix this. I'm at $19,000 deficit. I'm gonna go back to my startup point, and I'm gonna reconfigure some things. So let's see here. I was looking at $13,000 in equipment. I think I'm gonna bump this down to 10,000. I was thinking about paying $12,500, but I really found that truck for $7,500. I'm gonna make it $8,000. I'm gonna need to get a used plow and not a brand new plow. I'm gonna get a plow for $1,500. I can't change the insurance because it's not for me. I'm not going to be able to finance my inventory of $6,800. I can only really finance about $3,000 of my inventory. I can't change the legal and accounting fees. My supply budget is only 2 of us. We're gonna have to do better. We're gonna have to use those math 2 days in a row. I don't know. I need my advertising budget to stay pretty high because I need to pick up new clients. I think I need to leave that operating capital there because I don't know what I don't know. I'm gonna reduce my out-of-pocket, what I bring to the table, by $7,500. I'm over budget by 13. So I can put this down to, let me just get a calculator and get it right the first time. I need 36,220. Okay, so I did it wrong. I need 28,700. Forgot the $20. Okay, I said I was gonna pay myself 13,000. I might have to adjust what I pay myself as a startup. I may not be able to pay myself right away. I'm gonna have to keep working my job on the side. So in June, I'm not gonna take any income. In July, I'm not gonna take any income. In August, all right, I may not be taking any income in August. I may not pay myself until the first of the year, and I'm gonna pay myself at that point 300. Nah, 500, 500, all the way through. Maybe by May I can pay myself 1,500. See what that looks like. Where you can, let me see your faces. You have the option to negotiate your salary. You can negotiate what you're willing to pay yourself. You are not going to call me up and have me out here in the heat. It's 80 degrees out there. Talking about, let me slide you $25 today. We agreed that you will pay me $13 an hour. And I just gave you 8 hours for the day. On Friday, you better make a sister whole. Don't come up in here with that, let me slide you this change and give you a Jimmy John's. That's a no. You owe me what you owe me. You can flex your income. You cannot flex your employee's income, period. That's not an option. And a lot of people, especially in law and services, want to do that to folks. you know what? We ain't got that much work this week. So lay me off then so I can collect my unemployment. Because you can't work me like that. All right, so let's go back. We've now reduced our payroll quite substantially. It was almost 36,000, I think. Now we're down to 17. I need to get back up in here in the sales forecast. I thought I got this full-time job and I only want to pick up 6 contracts a month. I really think I'm gonna have to hustle a little bit harder. I think in June, instead of saying I only got 2, I can't even operate this business without 3. And in July, I'm gonna need 4. And I'm gonna have to let the rest of this roll. But by March of the next year, because I did such a good job last year, I'm gonna need 4 more of those clients, 5 and 6. Bam, gotta do it that way. People need snow removal, and I'm gonna offer some discounts. I'm gonna say to them, if you book with me in September for the winter season, I will give you top priority for when I come and do the snowplow. I'll get you between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. if you sign with me in September. You guys see what I'm doing in that? I'm forcing my planning cycle for how I raise and make my money. Instead of waiting to see what may come, I'm in control of it a little bit in advance. So where I only made 30,000 and some change before, I made 35,000 and kept 32. Now, remember, I was 19,000 in a hole. Let's see if we made it up. How much money did I make? Actually, you can't tell how much I made. What did I end up with for my first year?
$300 in a hole. $345.
$345 in a hole. Is that something y'all can work with?
No.
You can figure out how to change that though. Couldn't you go back and make some tweaks and make the thing do it? We were at 19,000 in a hole. We were 19,000 in a hole. So I'm gonna go back in here. The wall was like, no, I cannot work with that. Fix it now. All right. So I looked at my sales forecast and I'm not sure that I can hustle up on any more money right away. I don't think I can get any more accounts right away. I think I'm gonna have to let this roll. Where else can I make some cuts? Well, I already cut my salary quite a bit. Looks like I'm gonna have to reduce the hours that my employee works. You guys catch that?
Right.
But wouldn't you be able to cut your salary on those off peaks where you're not making any, you don't have any clients?
Yes, Renetta, look at this right here. In June, I'm not paying myself. In July, August,
Yeah,
September.
Okay, I see. Yeah, okay. Okay.
This is real planning, guys. I mean, I don't even play around with this. DeJuan, I went back, I made some changes, and how much money did I make for the year?
$3,294. That's way more than.
Yeah, all right now.
I took 5 hours off of payroll a month.
All right, and made up for it.
You see, it can be done.
Yeah.
In all honesty, you're not going to go through the trouble of hiring somebody when you only making $30,000. That was just an exercise to make you understand.
Right.
I mean, when you only making 30,000, you better not be trying to hire somebody.
Hire nobody, right?
How can we get that software?
Yourself.
Nico said, "How do we get that software? Let's just cut to the chase. How do we get that? You don't." But I will help you through it. I can always run your numbers for you and just kick you the responses back. But so let's go back to the, you guys understand the whole purpose of the exercise?
Yeah.
I felt comfortable asking for this amount of money, and I had no idea as to where my customer accounts were coming in, the frequency, how much I was going to get paid, what it was going to cost me to service them. And then just going through the whole, see, for even my Kale, she can be like, I got, 300 clients, and I see 150 of them every month or 200 of them every month. and the average cost is $50 a head or $70 a head. She could put 200 in there for the number of units, and what's the price? $50 a head. What does it cost her to service? Well, shampoo, water, she could take her rent, she could take all her monthly expenses and cut them down to the number of units that she services in 30 days. And that's how you come up with your cost of goods. And then you can just keep playing and toggling and going back and forth, assessing, oh, I need to do a price increase because sister girlfriend can't get no love on this here. You got to figure it out. You have to figure it out. You have to go through the motions of really manipulating the data so that you can figure out where your financial footfall will be. Right, Annette and Evelyn? Like you were like, Etsy is costing me this much money and eBay costing me this much money. So you start plugging that stuff in and you go, well, if I change the price and it becomes this, or my shipping cost is this, or if I push out a couple more units, is this, you get to toggle and play with that. So what I wanted to do in the last 10 minutes is come up with, if you guys feel comfortable, if we took a one-on-one this whole week and all through next week, and we worked on each of your individual startup budgets, would you be ready to do your pitch in 2 weeks with the financial request?
I would be.
DeJuan, you said no?
I said I would.
Okay,
yeah,
good. Okay, good.
When I tell you I've been working really hard for the last
Yeah,
2
we'll
weeks to
be
get everything
ready.
together.
Okay.
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
So if we do one-on-ones over the next week where I help you all work out your startup budget, you cannot schedule a one-on-one if you have not gone through all your equipment, all your inventory, what your insurance is going to cost you. I need you to do the whole rundown. And all I'll do is plug the numbers in.
Okay.
And we'll go back and forth. But I want you to be able to say, you know, my business is fabulous and my name is blah, 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 blah. And customers want me because they can do this, 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 and this, and this. And I'm asking for $30,000 because I'm gonna need it for equipment, I'm gonna need it for my insurance, I'm gonna need it for my inventory. I need you to be able to explain exactly what you need your money for. I'm bringing $5,000 to the table. I expect my sales forecast in the first year to look like this. Because we would have gone through all your financials and you would be in a position to say all that, Michael.
So question, do I include like the things, because I know we want to bring our own equity to the table, but do I also include the equipment that I've purchased already?
So for you, you would put it right back in the same document, Michael. You put everything in the same document already. And what you would do is come down here, girl. I'm glad you said that. So say we said you needed $36,000 to start this business, but you said, girl, I already spent $24,000 with the chairs, with the signage.
Okay.
You get to cover that because you paid for it already.
Okay.
Right.
You have owner's equity. You already get to claim. You like, what did I bring to the table? I need 60,000, but I brought 24, and with that 24, I did this, and this.
Okay, great. Okay, got it.
Good question.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So if you guys reach out to me and we schedule one-on-ones, I want to make sure before you reach out, you've done the due diligence. Any equipment you need, all your supplies, all your inventory. I will send you my startup budget lead sheet so that you can look at the questions and figure out what you need. And then we will do an interface one-on-one and we come up with what your fixed assets are, what your real expenses are. And then I need to know what your prices are and the number of sales you can have per month. So Karen, if you're charging youth training workshops, I can do 4 schools a month. 4 schools in a month is $2,000 per school. It'll cost me with cost of goods, inventory, insurance, fuel for my car. It'll cost me $100. So what is my cost of goods margin? It cost me $100 out of 2,000. So I made a profit of $1,900 on every unit. Then you start working through your expenses. Okay, but my insurance is this, my website is this, my this and this is this, my cell phone bill is this. Just like we just went through all that. Same thing, because each of you will have an individual sheet that we need to flow through to get a real good understanding of your financial position. Renetta, Annette, Evelyn, Karen, Lady Q, I think Sabrina, definitely Yolanda. Before we can come up with your startup budget, I need to understand your cost of goods. For you to complete a finished unit, if you're selling this tiny tube of chapstick, I need to know what you sell it for and what did it cost you to make it. I need to know those things in order to help you. So if Yolanda has to first create all her menus, and then I would need to know, when you make this menu, a meatloaf with mashed potatoes and fried cabbage, what does it cost for this platter? What does it cost for a pan of chicken? What does it cost for a pan of macaroni? I need to know all the cost next to the price, and then I can come up with your sales forecast.
Can I make a small announcement?
Yeah.
Okay, so hi ladies. As everybody knows, my business is called the Beauty Now app. The Beauty Now app is going to be a delivery service for all beauty needs and beauty supplies. A lot of you ladies are in the beauty business. I do have a survey coming out for my business plan and my project. I just want to know if I could be able to send an email to you guys for you guys to be able to do the survey. And I want to get y'all as vendors on my list for that. Hopefully, in the next 1 to 2 years, the Beauty Now app will be as major as DoorDash, Uber Eats, and things like that, where ladies can be able, or ladies, gentlemen, anybody can be able to purchase their beauty needs on the app and get it delivered straight to their home, to their front door.
Wow.
All
Good
right,
for
that's a good
you.
pitch, D-Call. All right. Yes, you can.
Yes, yes. Bravo.
Oh,
How about that
Nico.
right there?
Perfect.
So,
My assistant will reach out to all you guys.
Karen, you had a
Yeah.
question about L3Cs. What's your question, honey?
I just didn't know like where to start to look it up, and
I just sent you an article. So a L3C is a hybrid LLC that operates like a nonprofit because it's not profit oriented, it is mission oriented. It intends to support people who are doing more education and training. It's a mission-based space. You don't want to be a full-fledged 501c3, so you become an L3C, which is a limited liability company with a hybrid version or almost nonprofit arm.
Do you need to register anything for like that?
You do. It's a legal business registration, and you still register like you do an LLC, except you have to add the IRS tax code and language to your LLC. If you schedule one-on-one with me, I'll get you the language that you need to embed in your document if you choose to go L3C. But there's no reason for you, Renetta, to be an L3C, none whatsoever. Remember, L3Cs are low profit organizations.
Oh, no. You're right. I got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, Karen can structure a L3C because she's got full-time employment. She's got a program-related business where she wants to do more education and training. She said she thought about it. I want to do more. So hers is situational business. So she can create workshops. She can go and do it. She can ask, and what's really important, instead of the students paying for it, she can ask Kresge to pay for it, or Kellogg's to pay for it, or Skillman to pay for it. Yolanda had a special announcement too, but she's having some challenges.
For that well in the future. I have a plan for that as well as training. Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to do in the future. Yeah.
Awesome. Yolanda is having some technical difficulties, but I wanted to tell you that she is mentoring a group of youngsters. Well, they're all adults now, who just got recognized by the Skillman Foundation. My admin just sent me something saying on Facebook, Yolanda posted that her people got acknowledged. Yolanda, you want to tell them a little bit about it before we get off?
Sure. So I just started program. I actually thought I was going to start it closer to next year. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, I was just delivering. I started a program called Camp Dinner Table. Thought I was going to start it next year, but because of COVID and students still being at home, I was asked to pitch it now. So I did, and I won a grant for it. So the program is basically trying to get parents and students back to the dinner table together. So each night, 3 nights, so 3 days a week, I do 3rd through 12th grade programming where we will be cooking together and discussing different things that you would talk with your parents or family around the dinner table. And today was our first cohort, and it was spectacular.
All right. Bravo, bravo.
Congratulations.
And Laura, I
Yay.
didn't tell you, but as another guy from another nonprofit, which I'm not a nonprofit, he saw the Camp Dinner Table, so he asked me, could I do his program, 40 students. He's going to pay me at value how much the program costs, not grant-based. So I will be actually doing a program that will make money for me. So, yay.
We see you, Yolanda.
Congratulations, girlfriend.
Okay,
That's that ProsperUS, y'all. That's that ProsperUS knowledge.
Okay.
I'm so proud of you, Yolanda. And I've met the group that she's actually mentoring. Phenomenal young people. They won a pitch competition. And Yolanda has been not only their champion and their coach, their cheerleader and their confidant. So just kudos to you, Yolanda, for what you've done with these young people who have all stuck together. I think it's a group of 8 of them. And I think that's just phenomenal. All right. So our session is over. Reach out to me to schedule your one-on-ones. We will get ready. And your pitch competition will be virtual. And I've already started to line up the bankers that you'll be pitching to.
Woohoo.
I also anticipate that each of you will have a video for me. Anybody got a video y'all ready for me to see for your pitch?
Not yet. My videos is getting done this weekend. My videographer is supposed to get everything.
Annette and Evelyn, what you got? Y'all got your video?
Working on ours. We're working on ours. We're almost done.
Kiana?
How long? What's the time
I
span?
don't have a clue.
We're gonna get it done this weekend.
What's the time
Karen,
span?
Kiana, Mikhail, Sabrina, all y'all, give me a video.
What's the time span, Laura?
I mean,
So
in
many?
the next 2 weeks, I need a pitch to happen, and I got to get the judges. I need to see the videos. It's the wind down. It's the wind down. So I mean,
Okay. What's the time frame, Laura?
tomorrow.
For the video.
Tomorrow.
No. How long is the video?
Oh, you want it to be no longer than a minute.
Okay, a minute. Okay, 1 minute.
A minute or less.
We're gonna do a minute.
Okay, we gonna do it.
If we need to do another pitch, let's do it. If we need to do another practice session, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Perfect.
It's
I
time for me
redid my pitch.
I'm ready. I want to hear that pitch. Listen, next Monday, before we do our next session of financial planning, I'm ready to hear everybody's pitches again in the first part of it.
Okay,
So we
we'll
can
be
check
ready.
it. I'm ready next week. If you want to hit me up through the week and we can do it, so be it. But see, I want them pre-recorded so I can send them to the judges in advance.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
gotcha.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.